welcome back to another episode of Cranked Automotive. So we're up to episode 2 on the VH RB30 Turbo swap. So did a fair bit of stuff during the week just to catch up. Everything gets a bit crazy when you're working and stuff as well. So, but I'll go through and show you guys what we're up to. But today we'll be dropping the engine into its new home and making a bit of other stuff work. Probably put the gearbox in as well, get that all mounted up. But other than that, everything's looking pretty good. We've got the VL K-frame here, VL power steering rack. Also had to change the interim shaft because they require a longer one through the series. So, also swapped out the pedal box, so it's a VL manual pedal box in it. So we'll go through and show you guys what we've been up to, and we'll go from there. So the old K-frame's out. New RB30 or the RB30 one here. So, just going to swap the control arms. Still the bushes are good and everything like that. I'll put some new caster bushes in the front. I'm hoping that the VH steering rack's going to fit into it. Some mounts are a bit different. Let's see how we go. We'll get her in. So you got the VL K-frame in, everything's bolt straight in. You won't fit the VH rack onto it because the mounting points are different. So the rack ends are good, the boots are good. It's a Petters rack. So I just put some new tie rod ends on it. Got the longer interim shaft. And also, I'll show you guys the pedal box inside shortly, but if you do go to like a VL manual pedal box and you're keeping the hydraulic side of it, the master cylinder just around where the cutout is in the firewall, you have to file that down a bit to actually fit them in, so it's another handy hint. But yeah, other than that, base pretty clean, pretty tidy. We'll get the motor in, get stuck into it. So as you can probably see, we've got our forward facing plenum back. So it's got the BA throttle, BABF throttle body on it now. And also we've got an FG turbo map sensor at the back here. So that's just goes straight in, plugs in. Now with these, I'm running a BF Falcon naturally aspirated loom. So if you get an FG turbo map sensor, it's the same pin configuration, so they just drop straight in. Pretty handy to know. Now I'm going to try and keep the wiring out of the engine bay. mount the ECU and everything up underneath the dash, behind the firewall. So, and also just painted up, and probably looks like a bit of a hack job, but it's better than it cooking everything. Put just a natural aspirated heat shield on it, and yeah, just chopped that up a little bit and made it work, sort of thing. So now I've got direct clutch services button clutch to go on it, and also VL manual tail shaft as well. So during the week I've been playing around. Someone had been at it before because the tail shaft was all out of line configuration. Sort of want the yokes to be working with each other, not against each other. Otherwise, they're working at different velocities. But yeah, the old centre bearing, it was pretty chewed out. It's pretty standard on any Commodore or Falcon. So yeah, just went ahead and replaced that and cleaned up the CV and re-greased it. So it's pretty happy now. Pretty much with tail shafts, if you ever do any work with them, you just want to make sure you mark it properly. Make sure it's all good and goes back together the exact same way it come apart. Otherwise you can go right out of balance. So in this case I'm just going to run it. If I do have vibration issues, I'll go and send it to a tail shaft shop and get balanced. So but yeah, should be right. And yeah, so I think we're pretty much ready to get the engine crane out, take the engine off the stand, we'll start dropping it in. So I just got the spigot bush out for the auto, got the new one in. Now these are a bit of a prick. They sit right out and you've only got that little bit of a surface there if you try and hydraulic it out. I tried to use bread, but it just wasn't enough. So another handy little hint is when that bush is in there, I just got a nut, sat it on the inside, kept the bolt through it, and just welded the nut inside the bush, and then you leave the bolt in there just so it doesn't distort the inside of it. And then once that's all welded and that, just do that bolt up and it pulls itself out. So otherwise you're there forever scratching your head, throwing things. Hopefully that helps. So I'll whack the new clutch on it, the flywheel, and always check the spigot bush on the actual input shaft of the gearbox and make sure you lube crate everything right up. Like pivot ball and anything that moves needs a bit of lube. So righto, we'll get it opening. Clutch is on. I just mated the gearbox to it, just make sure the clutch is lined up properly. Slide straight in. Don't have an alignment tool, so I just lined it up by eye. So that's all good. And bonnet's off, so let's put it in. And here we have it. Looks good in there. It's a little bit of a pain in the arse trying to get it in there, just because I'm only using a seat belt and there's more weight at the back, so it was on a bit of an angle, but yeah, we got there in the end. So yeah, should be good. Just got to whack the gearbox on, that way I can get the jack off the back of the motor so it's not laying right down. And yeah, start tinkering with some other stuff. Sick. So we've got the engine sitting where it should be, and also got the gearbox in. I didn't film it much because there's not really much to see, but I ended up getting a Castlemaine rod shop gearbox cross member, so it works pretty good. So everything sits pretty well. Now with these you also have to modify the shifter hole as well, because it sits in a bit, but that's no big deal. Like, you can put a VL one in, but you'll still have to take a little bit out of the actual trans tunnel just to get it to fit properly, and yeah, but no, it should be good. Got all the center console painted up. Looks pretty mint. So at least it's in. Yeah, starting to come together. Still a lot to do, but we'll get there. So that'll wrap up this episode. Have gotten a fair bit done behind the scenes as well, and I apologise if the editing is a little bit here and there and cut and shut. Just a bit of a madhouse at the moment, so I'm just getting what we can done when we can. But it is coming together. Next episode, I'm going to be making a makeshift VL turbo diff out of a VN V8 diff and just a standard VL drum brake diff. So just be swapping a few goodies here and there, and yeah, making it work. So keep an eye out for next episode, and we'll go through that. And yeah, I've still got to get a decent fuel tank for it, and get a radiator and an intercooler kit, so we can start plumbing some other things up. And I'll get into the wiring and tackle that as well. Figure out where I'm going to mount the ECU as well. So. But yeah, so I hope you guys are liking the videos. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. If you want to ask a question, I'll try and get back to you. Can't guarantee it because I don't really sit on my phone too much, especially not on YouTube. But yeah, it's good fun, and I'll try and get back if anyone's got any feedback or wants to ask any questions. It's no dramas. But until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.